Update number 3 for the X748, or what's left of it anyway. Got off work this morning. Was pretty excited to go get the frame. I saw check the tracking. It's where I have to pick it up at. I called the company and said, hey, I've never had anything shipped through your company before. I don't know really how this all works. I see that my item is there. Do I just come down and pick it up, or what do I do? And the gal on the phone checked things out and was like, oh, well, we're not going to get to that trailer until tonight, unfortunately. So that means I can't pick the frame up until Friday now, which stinks, but because I really would have liked to at least put the rear axle on it or something, you know, started working on the new frame. But it is what it is. It allowed me to get this all power washed and cleaned off really well. One last time. There was a ton of, I'm chalking it up to be like almost manure really, and mud and sand down in between the rear PTO and the actual rear case of the transaxle. So I stuck the power wash like right in there, cleaned all that out, and then threw a real heavy coat of etching primer on it, and then a real heavy coat of flat black paint, and power washed the steering valve assembly, hydraulic assembly or whatever off real well. Same thing with the SCV valve, which is sitting right behind there. Really contemplating on getting their caps for the mid-mount mower stuff right now, so I can kind of start the H4 project. The caps will go in this one and in this one here where this elbow is, and then that way I could still run the loader on the tractor for the time being. Like I said, I have no use for the mower deck being on this tractor. I even thought about potentially getting some tees for these here, because this is a a flow and a return return and flow and return, whatever way it is, it doesn't really matter. So I can plumb in a 2-port or 2-valve, whatever you want to call it, SCV for the mid-mount mower hydraulic, and then the rear 3-point hydraulic. So I don't know, I might bring this to a hydraulic shop and say, I kind of want to extend this a little bit and put a T on it or something. I don't know. We'll see once what I kind of come up with. But yeah, so I got that all power washed, degreased really well. The one thing, I might have to take this detent piece apart here, because this is for the float, because this one's stuck in. It wouldn't move earlier before I took it off the tractor, so I was able to forcefully and very, forcefully push it in by hand. That's the best way to put it. So, and it hasn't come back out, so I think it needs to be worked a little bit. It probably has never been used, being this tractor did come from the south. So yeah, I do have the steering cylinder on this stuff here. This is called navel jelly. It's rust dissolver. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it or not. Works pretty good. In my experience though, I would let it sit for longer than what the directions say your first go around. Wash it off and then do it again and let it sit for potentially even longer to really let this stuff work. The heavier the rust though, unfortunately it doesn't work too well, but it does work. So yeah, I got the steering cylinder on there now. You can see where it was all rusty and everything like that. Anywhere that there's no paint, there was rust on this thing. So cleaning that up. I did take the front fenders off the front axle. I'm going to clean those up with that navel jelly as well, and then paint those. This is like the battery box, I guess, if you will. This had a lot of surface rust on the inside naturally where the battery is. I put that navel jelly on there and let it sit for 2 hours. It took it right to bare metal, and big thick coat of etching primer, and then flat black paint again. Clean that up. The only thing I can't do today is get the front axle off. I tried just to kind of keep moving on this thing and figured, well, if I stuff it in the a side of my garage or something like that, then it's, you know, kind of out of the way, and if I have to move it, I'll deal with it. But there's that center pivot point right there on the axle. That's like 1.25 inch nut, and I don't have a socket big enough for that. And I even tried putting a Nip-X channel locks on there. Yeah, I had a lot of weight on that thing. It wasn't coming off. So I'm gonna have to put an actual socket on there. I even tried a pipe wrench, but gonna have to put a socket on there and with a breaker bar or with a cheater bar on it and fold it over. Well, I guess not fold it over, but, you know, break it loose to get it to come off, because it won't budge. So yep, there's where that sits with that. And I did take, these are the castle nuts for the steering cylinder, sitting there, rear axle. I have to get 4 of these little guys. I'm just gonna run to the local home store, Home Depot probably, and get these. I'm not gonna order this stuff through Deere. Might even get these in stainless, but these are for the front fenders to get bolted to the frame, you know, the brackets or whatever. I put that navel jelly inside. This is the selector shaft or handle for the rear PTO. I stuffed this handle, submerged this, and these little brackets here this is for the rear diff lock. These brackets go, you can kind of see where those 2 bolts are right there. It kind of sits in there, something like that. This shaft here is for the brake and for the diff lock. So when this gets pushed in, both the rear wheels are engaged. And yeah, but this piece was set just like that, and it was rusted solid. Could not move it. I had to set it like this pretty much on my bench and stick a slotted screwdriver in there and just start pounding away to break it free. I looked on Deere's parts website just for grins on a price, just for the washer, the cotter pin, this piece, and then the other piece was $123. Went to Tough Torque Service, I believe it is .com. Looked these same parts up, and they were under $25. So if you guys do need parts, seriously, for your K92s, look on Tough Torque's website. You're going to save a ton of money if you need parts. Luckily, I was able to save these. The only thing I have to do is get some Cotter Keys. I'm probably just going to buy like one of those big miscellaneous boxes of them that come like those Plano style cases. So I have a bunch, because I'm going to need some for this thing anyway. Pieces that I took off. Some of them came with R pins. Some of them came with the Cotter Keys. Like the steering cylinder needs Cotter Keys. Or cotter pins, whatever you want to call them. So that's kind of where that sits there. I'm going to use a bunch of them up. Those are for the rear axle there. This is for the steering cylinder. I did get this cleaned up. I did stick this end in navel jelly as well. I had these parts here, I don't know if I said this, I had these parts here, this thing completely submerged, and the end of this submerged in navel jelly for over 24 hours. And it took everything right down to bare metal, cleaned everything up really, really well. So if you guys do want to use that stuff, just be patient with it. It does take a little bit longer to work than I think what the directions say, but it does work. So I did clean that up, and then just took some sandpaper or whatever and kind of cleaned this up, because this had a bunch of rust on it up here, and I didn't get this submerged in the navel jelly. So I just sanded that down, and I figured, you know, I'm just going to paint this end. You're never going to see this thing anyway, so it's kind of two-tone now. I do have this stuff right here. I believe I explained in the last video. This is like sound deadening material, but this stuff here kind of goes, so we do this with one hand. This kind of sits something like that on the frame. So I'm gonna make, instead of buying this through Deere, because I'm sure this would be freaking expensive, I'm just gonna make my own out of it. It's thicker material, which is fine. It's not gonna affect anything. So let's see what else. That's pretty much it, really. Just kind of got parts, just kind of staged almost, you know, not really staged, but I guess that's kind of the right way to put it. So yeah, it's kind of where we're at with the frame swap. Friday can't come soon enough, but yeah, I'll see how far I can get with reassembly Saturday. Well, Friday during the day, Saturday. I would love to have the motor in with a rad on Saturday. I'm gonna call my dealer, my Deere dealer, tomorrow and see how he's coming with getting those parts. I would hope they're coming here in the next day or two, but we'll find out. I had to order like the dash panel and stuff, so I'm sure some of that stuff they don't just have sitting around. They may even have to make some. So yeah, because if I can pick those parts up and the frame on Friday, I'll be like gold for a little while for getting this thing put back together. So yeah, that's where things sit. That's where they're gonna sit for a little bit until Friday. So thanks for watching, guys. Oh, actually, one more thought. So I want to save that identification number. There's one right there. I was able to get that one off, and I want to take that one off, and I want to put all those back on the new frame in the same spots that they came off of. This one, I took my power wash to and I flapped it, so it was able to, I know it's going to come off, but I want to be able to get it off in one piece. Does anybody know, does Deere, if I called them, can they make those still, or am I better off peeling them off and then using like Gorilla Glue or something like that and gluing them over the old ones? Because I want the new frame to be identified as an X748, you know, should I ever sell it. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know, let me know what you guys think and what my kind of options are. So like I said, because I want to be able to have the frame identified as an X748 frame should I sell it. So again, thanks for watching, guys, appreciate it, and I'll update you Friday afternoon or maybe your Saturday morning or something like that sometime. Thanks again, see ya.